What if you could manually override the involuntary systems keeping you alive, like forcing your eyes to see perfectly underwater? Neuroscientist David Eagleman calls human consciousness a tiny stowaway on a transatlantic steamship, taking credit for the journey while ignoring the massive engineering below deck. That heavy lifting is handled by zombie subroutines. These locked programs regulate your digestion, your heart rate, and your reflexes without your permission. We walk around thinking we are in charge of our bodies, but millions of years of evolution have intentionally locked us out of our own operating system. The brain locks these systems down for one specific reason: speed. It takes repetitive tasks and burns them directly into hardwired circuitry to eliminate conscious processing time. When a professional baseball player connects with a 90-mile-per-hour fastball, the decision to swing and the physical movement are executed by an alien subroutine before his conscious mind can even register the visual data. Athletic skills are learned subroutines, but autonomic reflexes, like your pupils reacting to a bright light, are considered innate, unbreakable biological rules. Here is a cross-section of a human eye. Normally, the pupil expands and contracts strictly in response to light, completely ignoring your conscious will. But underwater, refraction causes incoming light to bend chaotically against the cornea, making it physically impossible to focus. Medical science treats these autonomic reflexes as permanently locked by our DNA. Finding a way to manually control them would be the ultimate biological hack. In the remote islands of the Burmese archipelago, an isolated culture known as the Sea Gypsies has spent centuries navigating this boundary. They live on the open ocean, learn to swim before they can walk, and survive by harvesting food deep beneath the waves. To do this, they bypass their first autonomic lock, their heart rate. They can consciously slow their pulse to stay submerged up to 75 feet deep for twice as long as an average human. And they achieve these depths entirely barehanded, without any modern diving equipment. Surviving in this extreme environment forced an entire population to unconsciously exploit a vulnerability in human biology. Researchers Anna Gislin and Norman Deutsch traveled to study the Sea Gypsies to understand exactly how they navigated the ocean floor. They discovered a specific biological anomaly. The Sea Gypsies were consciously constricting their pupils while submerged. Biologists consider the pupil to be an autonomic mechanism. It is supposed to be completely walled off from the conscious decision-making centers of the brain. This vector diagram illustrates the physics. By forcefully shrinking the pupil, the eye alters the angle of incoming light underwater. The constricted pupil forces scattered light rays to converge into a single focal point directly on the retina, snapping a blurry image into perfect clarity. The immediate scientific assumption was that the Sea Gypsies possessed a rare genetic mutation unique to their population. But Gislin tested this. She gathered a group of European children and within a few months successfully trained them to consciously constrict their own pupils underwater. The Sea Gypsies' vision is not a genetic gift. It proves that the supposedly hardwired autonomic nervous system is entirely programmable. The scientific term for this exploit is neuroplasticity. It functions as a mechanism that makes the brain's circuitry act like live, rewritable code. This evidence suggests that the boundary between an innate reflex and a trainable skill is more porous than we've been led to believe. Understanding how to access this circuitry separates you from the masses who blindly accept their constraints as permanent. Subscribe to ensure you don't lose access to this type of research. Based on this evidence, what other permanent biological limitations are we accepting simply because we haven't found the override?